Yo, what is up guys? Ethan here back with another video, and today I'm going to be giving my predictions on 8 games, which you'll see eventually. And yeah, if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. Now, I brought up how I'm going to be doing this in my Georgia versus Tennessee video. If you haven't watched that one, go check it out after this video, of course. But yeah, let's hop right into these 8 games I'm going to be talking about. And we're going to start off with the only Friday game, Louisville versus Georgia Tech. And I'm a big believer in Georgia Tech. I was a big fan of Jeff Sims going to this year. I thought he should 100% be the starter. And with the new rules, him playing this year may not even count. He's a true freshman, and all of the years are going to be postponed. So if Jeff Sims plays next season, he's going to still be a true freshman technically. So I think it was a very smart move, and he has definitely impressed me. He does need to get better at decision making, but I really am impressed with how good this Georgia Tech offense can be. And with this Louisville offense, I do like what Louisville's doing, but I am actually going to take Georgia Tech in the upset here. Georgia Tech is the home team. It's going to be a close game. I think Javion Hawkins is going to keep it close. Give me Georgia Tech 41-35. Next matchup is a big matchup. We have three big time matchups at that noon slot. First, we're going to start off with Florida and Texas A&M. And going into this year, if you've been a loyal subscriber, you know I was a big fan of Texas A&M last year. They disappointed, and I'm not high on them at all. My bad. And I don't like Texas A&M that much. I'll be 100% honest. I don't like Florida either, but I am a big fan of what that offense is doing with Kyle Trask, Kyle Pitts, and Kadarius Toney. I have the final score being 38-27. My bad, Florida, but I think the score is it's gonna feel like Florida just whooped them, but I think Texas A&M gets a late score, so 38-27 Florida. Next game is a big matchup in the ACC. We have Virginia Tech traveling down to North Carolina. And I knew that Boston College was going to keep it close with North Carolina last week. And I'm so happy that I did that. It almost happened to an upset. But I think North Carolina bounces back this week. I'll be 100% honest. I have not watched Virginia Tech at all this year. But but people are just choosing this upset, and even though Vegas says North Carolina's favored, I checked ESPN a few days ago. With the choices, Virginia Tech has more votes than North Carolina, which is crazy in my opinion. If this game's not close, I would be shocked. If Virginia Tech wins this game, I would not be shocked. But I think North Carolina and that star power is going to be way too much for Virginia Tech when it comes close to the end. Give me North Carolina 28-24. Next matchup, we have I'm not sure if this is a Big 12 matchup. We have Kansas State versus TCU. And TCU had a big upset last week at Texas. That was the only prediction I got wrong last week. I actually did like TCU going into this year, but what I saw versus Iowa State was not impressive. But now we know Iowa State is still a really good team. But Kansas State, they lost to Arkansas State. They beat Oklahoma. I'm not sure how the season's going to be going for them this year. I could be mistaken, but they did win last week at Texas Tech. I'm not sure about the final result. I didn't write it down. I'm just going from the top of my head. But Kansas State, that offense, it's going to be a high-scoring game, I think. But I think Max Duggan in that offense is going to be too much for Kansas State. Give me TCU 42-35. Next matchup we have is going to be Texas Tech versus Iowa State. And I think this matchup's going to be very close. Iowa State had that huge win last week versus Oklahoma. It was an upset last week, but looking how Oklahoma is this year, I'm not sure if it's still an upset, but I do like this Iowa State offense. The main reason why I think Iowa State lost that Louisiana game is their star tight end Charlie Collier. He was out that game. Now, I'm not a big fan of him, but he is one of the key pieces on that offense. But as you see the guy on your screen, Breece Hall, he is a super underrated running back. Going into this year, he's probably one of the most underrated running backs entering this season. And so far, especially last game, he has been probably the main focus on that Iowa State offense. Now, that Texas Tech, I'll be honest, you have a great running back. I forget his name, Sir Dominic Thompson, something like that. I'm sorry if you're a Texas Tech fan. But Alan Bowman, really impressive. But he can be inconsistent at times, and he does have some injury issues. But for my prediction in this one, I think Texas Tech keeps it close. I think that offense is going to keep up with Iowa State's offense. But I think Iowa State's team is way too skilled, and Matt Campbell is too good of a coach. Give me Iowa State in a close one, 35-27. Next matchup, we have Pittsburgh versus Boston College. And this is a very underrated matchup this week. Boston College, we saw in primetime last week, almost upset number 8 North Carolina. And Pittsburgh, they did lose last week versus NC State. But don't forget, that Pittsburgh team is really good, especially defensively. I think this is going to be a low-scoring affair. And I don't think Boston College is going to upset again or try to. Give me Pittsburgh in this one, 21-17. I really think this is going to be a defensive game on both sides of the ball. But I think Pittsburgh is just too talented compared to Boston College. Give me Pittsburgh. Next matchup, we have Marshall and Western Kentucky. And a very underrated matchup, maybe because they're not a top group or Power 5 team, my bad. But both of these teams have probably been in the upper. Now, Western Kentucky, they've been a little iffy. But this Marshall, they have been really, really good so far this year, led by Grant Wells, the true freshman. And in this one, I think Marshall's going to win. Maybe a little bit closer than people think. Give me Marshall 40-32. And the final matchup we're going to have in this video, we have Mississippi State and Kentucky. This is going to be a really good game. Kentucky 0-3. Mississippi State had that phenomenal upset a few weeks ago. And, of course, they lost to Arkansas in a big upset. And both of these teams are going to be desperate for a win. Kentucky's too good of a team to be 0-3. And Mississippi State, after saying, oh man, we're going to be super underdogs, hop on the bandwagon. You can't start off 1-2. And I think this is going to be a very, very, very close matchup. But I do think, at the end of the day, Mike Leach is a better coach than Bob Stoops. And I'm going to take Mississippi State in a very close one, 33-30. I was a big believer in Kentucky, and so far they have been disappointing. And that makes 2 years straight my big-time sleeper in the SEC is super underrated. Last year was Texas A&M. This year it was Kentucky. But yeah, that was it. I was going to include Coastal Carolina and Louisiana, but that game was postponed. So expect a game preview, a whole video by itself on that matchup sometime around Monday. So yeah. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, share, subscribe, and like always, have a good day. Peace out.